Okay. No, so that's actually a perfect segue into what I was going to ask, because I think you went to graduate school in the 60s, where I suppose many people were asking the same sort of questions that you articulated now, inequality, the notion of a system which is unfair and so on. Um, so, it seems to me that in some ways the political atmosphere of that time had probably a strong impact on your academic sensibilities. Could you tell me a little bit about that and about the work of the Cambridge Keynesians and all the foment that was going on at that time?
Yes, graduate school was very formative for me, but interesting enough, I was already primed in some sense by Princeton. At Princeton, I heard Martin Luther King speak. My best friend was a Tanzanian socialist, and he took me to hear an obscure American by the name of Malcolm X, who was giving a talk at the Islamic Studies Department at Princeton. And that actually had a big impact on me because I saw a person here who had transformed himself and who had a very cogent and powerful message. So by the time I hit graduate school in about 1967, I was already critical of the system, but still thought that economics would provide the answer. And of course, then I walked into my micro course, which was taught by Bill Vickery. And then subsequently, if you did well in the course, you moved to the course by Gary Becker. And I was inserted into a world which made no sense as a description of any social unit or any human behavior that I'd encountered. And I think that led me to believe that you need a different foundation. At the same time, of course, there was a feminist movement, there was a civil rights movement. I was married to a white woman who was a daughter of an economist also, and we had a lot of trouble getting housing in New York City, and we ended up living in Harlem. And by coincidence, the housing in Harlem, which had been run by nuns and all that, I started talking to them. They invited me to come down and teach in a school called Harlem Prep, where I found myself working with kids who'd been kicked out of New York City schools because they were unteachable. So again, there was this same duality as in my early life. On one hand, I was in Harlem, which is literally at the bottom of a hill just below Columbia University, and I was also at the top of the hill at Columbia University. And that all came together in the anti-war movement. I was active in that. I joined the occupations of the buildings in Columbia, which also influenced me a lot. It was a time not dissimilar from the time now with Bernie Sanders supporters. People were very idealistic and very active. Our teachers didn't like that by and large. Some of them supported it, but they just didn't like the disruption. So it influenced my sense that you could do things differently. We were not bound, so to speak, in any one place.